4.8, use the quadratic formula and the discriminant. All right. Together, say the quadratic formula.
Negative b plus or minus the square root of 4ac minus b squared.
Whoa. That was not together.
Divided by
2a.
over 2a.
Over 2a.
Daniel, you need to lock in.
Sit down, bro.
Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. What is the discriminant?
7. Square root of b squared minus 4ac.
Wrong.
Discriminant is b squared minus 4ac.
Of the quadratic equation.
It's just b squared minus 4ac, nothing else.
No square roots.
All right, examples. Use the quadratic formula to solve the equation. Number 6. X squared minus 16x plus 7 equals 0.
Whoa.
All right, so b is already negative, so it's negative times negative 16. I'm just writing it for the sake of you seeing it. You can just write it as positive. Plus or minus the square root of 16 squared.
Wait, wouldn't it be negative 16 squared?
Yes, but it turns positive, so it doesn't matter.
Minus 4 times 1 times 7. All over 2 times 1. So I have 16 plus or minus the square root of, anybody know what 16 squared is?
No.
600.
No.
The square root of 16?
No.
Oh,
16
16
squared.
squared.
I got it. It's 256.
Yes. Minus 4 times 1 times 7.
28.
28. All over 2.
It's 228. Yeah, 228.
To not have to rewrite this whole thing again, I'm just going to put a line through this and write it as 228. All right, now I need to see if I can break this down. So, 228 breaks into what?
7.
2 and 114.
114 breaks into
57?
Good job.
Yep, 2 and 57. Can 57 break down?
Nope, no.
Heck no. Maybe.
Are we sure?
Yeah.
Yes, it can.
It can by 3.
1
Dang
9
it.
19
3 times 1.
18.
And then 27. Yeah.
19.
Does 19 break down?
No.
All right. So I can take out a pair of 2's. So I have 16 plus or minus 2 root 57 over 2. Am I done?
No, because you have to divide by. Yes. No. Maybe.
No.
You have to split it into 2. Right?
Divide by 2?
Divide by 2.
What do I get when I do that?
Good
8
question.
plus or minus the square root of 57.
Okay, so I'm going to make you factor stuff out. We're not just dividing. Yes, that is the answer, Daniel, but I'm going to factor out. So I'm going to take out a 2. And I'm left with 8 plus or minus the square root of 57 over 2. 2's then cancel. And I'm left with 8 plus or minus the square root of 57.
Yay!
All right, you have to show the step of factoring it out,
Mm.
or I will not give you all the points.
Talking to
I get no points in my notes.
I knew she was talking.
Talking to several of you.
That doesn't show his word.
I knew she was Look, I crossed it out.
8. 5p squared minus 10p plus 24 equals 0. Are Right, negative b. B is negative, so I'm going to make that a positive. So 10 plus or minus the square root of 10 squared minus 4 times 5 times 24 all over 2 times 5. What's 10 squared?
100.
What's 4 times 5 times 24?
20 times 24 is
480.
So I've got inside 100 minus 480.
Negative 380.
So 10 plus or minus square root of negative 380 over 10. What do I need to do now?
Get the negative thingy out of there with the
So
weird
take
little
out a
eye
negative
thingy.
I.
I'm going to take out an I. What else am I going to do?
Divide by 10.
We're gonna find what.
Factor out a 10.
No, we gotta find out what goes.
Right now I can't factor out a 10. Yes, I need to break down 380.
Put my I backwards.
It's not good.
So now it's just a regular J.
And do not tell me to factor out a 2.
Take out a 4.
There is something much bigger that you should see automatically that you can
38
factor
and
out.
10.
10.
Yes, 10 and 38.
That's what I was
2.
10 is,
mentioning. 5 and 2. That's the one I know.
38 is,
6, 5?
16 and 2.
6 and 5, Jeannie?
Wait, 38. Oops, I wrote 30.
19 and 2.
yep, 2 and 19. So I have 2 2s and I'm left with 5 and 19. Can't break those down anymore, so I can take out a 2. So I have 10 plus or minus 2i root 95 over 10. This problem right here is a perfect example of why we don't just divide. Okay, we factor out. So take out a 2, because that's the only thing both of those have in common. I'm left with 5 plus or minus I root 95 over 10. Now 2 and 10 can reduce because these things are being multiplied. So there's going to be a 5 left. So I have 5 plus or minus I root 95 over 5.
And then can't you do the thingy again? Never mind. Don't listen to me.
I listen to you.
Oh, why did the box do that?
I don't.
Ew, yucky.
Why is it doing that? What is happening?
Are you losing your magic powers?
No.
Nope, never mind. She got it back.
So why wouldn't we take out the 5? So it'd be 1 plus or minus I square root of 95.
Because you can't do that because it's being added. That's why you have to factor out. Because otherwise y'all are going to end up canceling like that and getting the wrong answer. Algebra 2 quadratic formula is not as easy as Algebra 1 quadratic formula.
Why can't we do that one?
Yippee.
Oh, they got different ones. That one probably took up one full page.
Right, smaller.
26 minus 2t squared equals 9t plus 15.
Uh-oh. We
Yeah,
have to
this
move
is
it around
easy,
so it goes
guys.
into standard form.
What do I need to do?
You need to subtract 9t, so you'd have negative 2t minus 9t.
Or you could just set
Negative
it equal
2t
to 0.
squared.
Just set it equal to
Can I perhaps recommend that we move this stuff to the right so that I have positive numbers instead of negative numbers?
Aww.
You can do negative numbers, but most
No,
people
you're
don't
right. I
do
just
well
want
with
to
negative
see
numbers.
race, and I do a race.
So 0 equals 2t squared plus 9t plus 9.
I'd rather come
All right, what am I writing?
T is
Good. Kind of
negative
like
9.
a body part. That's not.
Plus or minus the square root of 80, well, 9 squared.
Yeah, you can go ahead and write it as whatever the number squared is. I was just doing it in the first couple to make sure that we understood what was happening, but just, yeah.
Minus 4 times 2 times 9.
Honestly, a lot of times I don't even write out this either. I just go straight to whatever the number is, which you're welcome to do so that you can shorten it. I just, on the first couple, wanted to make sure we were seeing all the steps.
Alright, let's draw it. over 4.
Yep. Okay. Over 4.
Yes, good.
8 times 9 is 72.
Oh, I was like, what are you looking at?
Yeah, me too. That's not how I saw it at all.
All right. So -9 plus or minus the square root of what's left over in here
9, 3.
over 4. So now this is, like you just said, 3. So I need to split this. -9 plus 3 over 4 or -9 minus 3 over 4. Because there's not a radical, I need to split it and get a legitimate answer. Okay, if there's radical, you can leave it together. If there are not radicals, you need to split them and get their 2 separate answers if you want all the points. So what is this one on the left equal to?
It's going to be -6 over 4, which is -3
What? Over 2.
over 2.
Or what's the other one?
-3.
3, -3. Oh, yeah, I was fine.
No.
You just did them backwards.
Yeah.
All right, are we okay with the quadratic formula?
I think so.
I mean, like, to plug it in, like, we understand how to plug it in.
Me do.
Sure.
I understand how to plug it in.
Brian, understanding
However,
that you can do it on your own, I
I
just copied
think-
from the board.
When we get to the dividing, I could use
And I have to
more
get up
practice.
early tomorrow.
Because
9:50.
Just the way we
I have to get
factor.
up early
Because
tomorrow.
my shoes are dropping at 10.
9:50 is early.
The shoes are dropping at 10, and I have to get up so I can
I have to
learn
wake
before
up
they
at
all go
6
away.
tomorrow.
I wish I could sleep that late. That would be so fun.
Music competition.
One time I slept till 4 o'clock,
That's wild.
but that was after camp,
7 maybe?
and none of my roommates would sleep.
One time I got really, really sick and I slept for like a day and a half.
All right, I'll backtrack and do another one of these
My
ones.
entire schedule was so weird because I thought it was 2 days before and it wasn't.
All right, 16, -3y squared equals 6y minus 10.
This notebook's not gonna survive the class if it keeps up.
My book's already in half.
I would move it over to the right.
I'm in like the last 4.
Easy.
Yes, and it also makes only one thing to move, so that's nice. So 0 equals 3y squared plus 6y minus 10.
Quadratic formula time.
All right, somebody other than Daniel, because he did the last one, tell me what to plug in.
Plus or minus square root of 36 minus 4 times 10, -10 times 3.
What the sigma did you just say?
The correct answer.
Which is positive 40 times 3, which is a 120 plus 36.
You forgot the thing that goes in the butt.
I'll get to that. I'm not there yet.
Slowpoke.
It's 156. The square root plus.
I would like to know what goes on the bottom before you start adding everything inside.
6!
It's 2a.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, inside, as Zach has said a few times now, is -6 plus or minus the square root of 156 all over 6. What does 156 break into?
3.
56 and 2. Nope, no, it doesn't.
Definitely not.
A 5 and a
53.
2, 52 and a 3.
70.
Good job, Zach, it is.
Okay, oh, okay. Where you good?
52 breaks into
26 and 2.
2 and a 26.
Which is 13 and 2. Oh my gosh, I'm so smart.
All right, so I take out a 2. I'm left with 3 times 13 inside. So I have -6 plus or minus 2 root, what's that, 39 over 6.
39. Oh.
And now we have to factor.
All right, so the only time that I really need to factor something out here is when I know that will be able to cancel, okay? So what does 6 and 2 have in common?
2.
3.
2. So I'm going to factor out a 2 because I know this number's even. I'm definitely going to be able to reduce that. So I factor out a 2. I'm left with -3 plus or minus the square root of 39 over 6.
Oh wait, why is that in parentheses?
We only factor out on the top.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then I reduce because now I'm multiplying. Okay, so because these things are being multiplied, I can reduce them. So 2 and 6 will reduce,
To 3.
and that'll give me 3. So my final answer is -3 plus or minus the square root of 39 over 3.
Can you factor out?
Does that make more sense now?
Because we are talking about this.
No, you cannot. Ever, ever, ever. These things are being added. That's why we have to factor out and then we reduce. So once you've reduced, like once you've factored out, if there's still something that can be factored out after it's all said and done, you didn't go far enough to begin with. Okay? You're taking out the GCF, and then you may not be able to reduce the whole thing depending on, like all these ones we have been able to reduce the piece that we took out on top. But sometimes it may be a bigger number than what's on the bottom depending on how it happens. Not often that it happens, but it can.
I got the wrong answer, Daniel.
All right, the rest of the stuff in this section goes with this lovely chart that you had at the end of your notes, okay? So we're going to be taking the discriminant, which is just b squared minus 4ac, no radicals or anything else, and we determine if it's greater than, equal, or less than 0, and then that tells us how many and what type of solution that they are. So, 32
Is
s squared plus 7s plus 11 equals 0. Find the discriminant of the quadratic equation and give the number and type of solutions. So this is just b squared minus 4ac. So 7 squared minus 4 times 1 times 11.
which is 5.
So 7 squared is 49 minus 44 equals 5. This number is greater than 0. So that means I have 2 real solutions.
For real. What do I think?
Okay. So does this mean that S is 2 things at the same time, or just 1 thing at different times?
You broke the lines.
It would be 2 things. It would have 2 real number solutions.
Got it.
But it doesn't mean they're going to come out to be like perfect numbers like number 20 was. They could be like number 16. That's still 2 real solutions.
Okay.
All right, 34. Negative 4w squared plus w minus 14 equals 0.
Alright, so we got
1 squared.
just negative 4 squared. Because, oh, it's a 1, not a 0.
Yeah, it's a 1.
All right, b squared is 1 minus 4 times negative 4 times negative 14.
16 times 14.
This is 1 minus what?
224.
224. 222. 224. 224.
So that is negative 223, which is less than 0. So what kind of, how many and what kind of
1.
solution?
1.
I would suggest you look at your chart.
That's 2
imaginary
imaginary
solutions.
solutions.
2 imaginary solutions.
So it's still 2.
This one is.
Okay.
There is one that's just 1.
Well,
When
but
it's
if it's
equal.
imaginary, it's 2.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Because it's like not on the ground.
So there will never
Right.
be just one imaginary solution? Okay.
Because it's always going to be a plus or minus
I
something.
mean, you can imagine that.
Like,
No,
like
there
plus
is
or
one
minus
real
4i.
That
So
makes sense.
you can't. That's not like a
Right.
number that we can combine, if that makes sense. So you'd have to have 2.
Stand at 15.
Put your hand up.
Yes.
Yeah, it's my brother's birthday today.
Do we need to do one more of these, or are we okay on this?
That's my brother's birthday.
Can we see an example of one
Like the Christmas Apps
One
movies
of-
coming out
real
with
solution?
Dwayne Rock Johnson
Basically,
and
just
Chris Evans.
to each other.
Yes.
Yes, but I still don't
It's
have
my
it written
brother's
down,
birthday.
so I will forget that later.
It's my brother's birthday today.
I have to find one because there's only one and it's an odd one, and I was gonna give that one to you for homework. So let me find one.
Sorry.
Which brother?
You should give us that one from
Gary.
I mean, not
All right, I found one.
The old one.
The one you were saying, some wild stuff.
All right,
Oh no. Yeah.
3x minus 5x squared plus 1 equals 6 minus 7x. Alright, what do I need to do first?
We need to get everything equals to 0. So we're going to move over the 6 minus 7x to the left side, which would mean that we would have 10x, what would be 5x squared plus 10x
Negative 5x squared.
minus 5 equals 0.
Alright, now,
Difference of squares.
what do I plug in? That is not a difference of squares.
I still don't know what that is. So we
Are
should
we
use a
finding
quadratic
determinant?
If it was a difference of squares, we would not be using quadratic
Now,
formula.
Are we
100?
Are we finding the determinant?
Discriminant, determinants, matrices. Alright, b squared, 10 squared minus 4 times negative 5 times negative 5.
100 minus 100.
100 minus 100
Which is one real solution.
is 0, which is one real solution.
Yay.
That means it goes like,
On
Yes.
a thingy.
It's on the x-axis.
but if it was
Like
greater than, it would be like that. And if it was less than, it would be like that.
Alright, your problems are 5, 9, 19, 31, 33, and
I sent a picture of them.
36.
It's a song lyric.
Yeah,
You shouldn't be listening to that kind of music, Zach.
That's my favorite shirt. That's my favorite shirt.